Alright everyone, welcome to a new video. Now this video gonna be about why beauty is not objective. And no, I'm talking about facial beauty, I'm not talking about attraction in general. Now a lot of people, they don't even know what being objective means, what objectivity means. They confuse between intersubjectivity and objectivity. Facial beauty is not objective. This is why. Because it's based on biology, you know? Even these things that you consider objective, like proportions, facial symmetry, clear skin, these are based on biology, and biology is not a standard of objectivity, because biology favors survival, you know? Reproduction, it does not track truth. So you cannot say because like you prefer something then it's objectively like true, you know? For example, you cannot say that because humans like they prefer symmetry, then symmetry is an objective standard of beauty. That is not true. They prefer like symmetry, proportions because it favors survival, because, you know, like it's an indicator of good health, you know? This is why. For the same reason that you can't say that cooperation is objectively good, because it leads it leads to group survival, right? It supports group survival, you know? This is not true. It's like this out gap, right? So you cannot jump from there to the conclusion. It does not follow. So biology is not a standard of objectivity. The golden ratio, you know, listen, always, like when you want to see like if something is objective or not, see, are the criteria, you know, determined to measure these things, are they created or discovered? Because the golden ratio, which is a mathematical ratio, is discovered, right? But when you like the created apps, they measure beauty, that, you know, they tell you that if you're like the golden ratio is a mathematical ratio, it's not a ratio for beauty. Like being close to it does not mean you're more beautiful, you know? This is not true. Right? There is no one standard of measuring beauties. It's not like, we are not talking about speed here, measuring the speed of light, or are not quantifiable things. Like mass, you know, speed, so you cannot really measure beauty. In the same sense that you cannot really measure difficulty of an exam, for example. You cannot say this is 10 out of 10, this is 7 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. I mean, you can give approximations, but you cannot be precise in these things. It's not quantifiable. Anyone who tells you that you are a 7, you know, this is fucking bullshit. It's not objective. It's intersubjective. This is the thing that people, they don't. No, this is the problem with people. They think that when something is common between a lot of people, like, then it's objective. But objective, it's not about something that all people believe in. Objective it's a fact that is independent of the mind, right? So you can't really say it's objective. It's intersubjective. Beauty is intersubjective. You know, it depends on societies, it depends on cultures, you know. It's intersubjective, but let me add this, with biological constraints. It's intersubjective with biological constraints, because the criteria for measuring it are created, they are not discovered. All these people who claim to measure objective beauty, but they have created these apps to measure them, you know? These standards they use are intersubjective, they are not objective. And everyone measures beauty differently. If it's an objective thing, then they must be only one standard to measure it. Which is not the case. That's why there are disagreements. There are different standards to measure it. There are different scales. So we tackled this, right? I want to add, because this video is not only about facial beauty not being objective, but it's also about attraction in general. We all know that attraction is not objective. I mean, we don't even have to talk about it. It's subjective. Attraction is subjective. Right? But is it really subjective? I mean, does it really... This is the common view, right? But is it really true when I think about it? As I said, there are elements of it that are intersubjective, right? Like facial beauty. We can't really say it's subjective. So this is the problem, right? So what's the conclusion here? Attraction is neither fully objective, neither fully subjective. This is the most reasonable conclusion. And it doesn't depend on only one factor. It depends on looks, like facial beauty, physique, height. It depends on personality. It depends on chemistry, like the compatibility between personalities. It depends on wealth. It depends on status. It depends on fame. It depends. Some people value like emotional stability. Some care about shared values. So it's really a complex concept that you cannot like narrow down to a specific set of metrics. And anyone who claims to specify to a specific metric, like is doubtful. You gotta doubt these people who claim that beauty can be oversimplified beauty to a specific metrics. Like you should always raise red flags in your eyes, because it's a complex thing. You cannot like really narrow it down. And a lot of people make the mistake, that they cannot love you, like these black pillars, for example. They think that a woman cannot love you, if you're not good looking, Like this clavicular guy, for example. I mean, he's really intelligent. He's way more intelligent than me. He's way more knowledgeable than me. But like, I disagree with what he says. He's overgeneralizing a lot. Like, because let's be honest, if you say that looks are the most important thing, right? You gotta provide evidence for that. That's a claim. That's an active claim, bro. You gotta provide evidence. The problem is that even if you go by studies, right? It's not enough, because there are some things that cannot be generalized. We are not talking about the effects of smoking, for example, which are the same because they are based on biology. But when it comes to attraction, it's not the same. It's like studying behavior, preferences. You cannot generalize them from a portion of people, what the preferences of a small number of people. So you really cannot determine what's the most important, because if you say like the looks are the most important without any evidence, then you committing a false hierarchy fallacy. You are saying that it's more important than other metrics, but you are not providing evidence to why that is. So then if you are saying that you are committing a false hierarchy fallacy, because there is no evidence to prove that. It depends, If we are talking about dating apps, then there is evidence to suggest that. I think, yeah. And because like in dating apps, it's different. You are only a picture, they judge you solely based on picture. Yeah, so it's the most important factor in dating apps. Description, like, your bio, like like whether you have pets, whether, also matter a little bit, like your race. But I would say that look is the most important in dating apps. I mean, there are studies to support that. I'm not asserting a claim, There are studies to assert that, to support that. But if we talk on general, then it's really complex. Because in real life, in real life scenarios, like personality comes into play. So it's a lot more complex than you think, It's about looks, it's about personality, it's about, looks like to sit, what can I say? They sit your foot on the door, right? In a lot of cases, but in not all cases. Because I mean, to sustain a relationship, you need more. You need personality, you need chemistry, you need wealth. You know, for all of these things, right? Emotional stability, shared common values. So they only set your foot on the door, and this physical attraction can become normalized. You know, to your partner over time, it might become a normal thing, which leads to it fading away. So you gotta be able to sustain that or other things, right? So when you say that looks are the most important or they are the only thing important, this you need evidence. Otherwise, you committing a false hierarchy fallacy, and you cannot give anecdotal you cannot give personal experience for that. Otherwise, you commit an anecdotal fallacy. Personal experience is only evidence for you, not for everyone. Okay. So it's not valid to generalize something, to generalize a claim based on personal experiences. What do you think? So I think it's a lot more complex than that. Of course, it depends on the individual, you know. So they set your foot in the door, but not always. Listen, if looks are the most important thing, or only are the only thing that is important, then if that were really true, then you would not see unattractive people being in relationships. You would not see unattractive people getting laid. You would not see unattractive people you getting girls. You know, so that is not true. You know, only one counterexample can destroy that whole idea, and there are many counterexamples in reality. So that's definitely not true. What do you think? Do you think that a woman would choose a Chad that is broke, who has no money in the bank, or an unattractive person who's rich, who's a billionaire? I would say nine times out of 10 they would go for the rich billionaire. Your point is destroyed, you know? I mean, you can even test that yourself, you know, to ask a woman to choose between 9 times out of 10 they would go for the one who's rich. So I'm not saying in Moscow, but we assuming that the Chad is completely broke. So you know, you gotta see my comparison. You gotta look into my comparison really well. So what I assume that the Chad is completely broke, because if they are equal in wealth, or the Chad can provide even if he's not that rich, then it's different, you know. So what I'm gonna say is this: women are attracted to signals, not to biology. That's not what they are attracted. They are attracted to signals, and money is a signal. It signals that you are able to provide. It signals that you are, you know, able to support, able to provide, able to create stability. It signals social respect. So that's why it increases attraction, you know. A lot of people make this mistake that they think that attraction is only based on biological factor, but it's not true. Attraction is based on signals, not biological factors. So that's what I'm gonna say. Yes, you gotta care about your looks, and it's important. But the problem is that when you do it for other people, because you're placing your happiness on them, it's like in a sense that you let them control your happiness. Because if they are not satisfied by the way you look, then you won't be happy. It should not be the case. When you do something, you should do it for yourself. I think that anyone, regardless, this is my opinion, you know? I think that people who do things to please other people, who no matter how intelligent they are, how knowledgeable they are, I think they are not men in my opinion, you know? And the definition of a man is, you know, is subjective and intersubjective, you know? It's not objective. We don't agree. In my opinion, a man is someone who does not fall for his desires. A man is someone who is not a simp, you know? Who respects himself, you know? Who doesn't put others above him for no reason, just to fulfill his desires. This is not what a man is. A man is someone who has a purpose in life, who has goals, right? who is strong mentally. That's what a man is. Most of these simps are weak mentally. They are controlled by desires. You know, they are influenced by society, not like controlled by society. Because influence is different, control is different. When you let like other people control you, then you are done, man. You are no longer in control of yourself. You are a weak person. But anyone can be influenced. There is always influence on society. You can't say that you don't care. You completely don't care. The people care to varying degrees, but you can't say that you don't care because that's inhuman. That's unnatural. That's impossible. There is always influence, but whether you let it control you or not is different. Some people let it control them, some don't. I would say, in my opinion, strong people, real men, are the ones who are not controlled by it. They are not controlled by what people have to say, you know. They have their own beliefs, you know. They act according to what they believe. That's what real man is. So if you do something, you do it for yourself. You want to be more attractive because it makes you feel better, you know. Because it gives you more confidence. Not because you want to satisfy someone or to please someone, you know. Okay, so this is my view. And I think that needing something is different from wanting something. I can want to be attractive, right? But don't, like for example, I want to be attractive, but I don't need to be attractive. I mean, if I want to be attractive, but if I'm not attractive, it's not a problem. The problem is needing to be attractive. Because if you need to be attractive, like needing to be attractive, in a lot of cases, it's like it indicates insecurity because you are not satisfied with your own self. You know? And a lot of these people who are needing to be attractive, even when they improve their attractiveness, they are not satisfied. There is always this unsatisfaction no matter what they do. So the key is to wanting to be attractive, not needing to be attractive. If that makes sense. You don't have to listen to these blackberries. You don't have. If your goal is to attract women, you gotta focus on yourself. You gotta try to improve every area. You know, physique, man, studies, wealth. Because if you focus on all areas, you are not neglecting any area. So it makes sense that your chances increase drastically. So this is what I'm gonna say. But for someone like me, I don't give a damn about. I think it's a distraction from reaching your goals, from focusing on your goals. I mean, women could help you do that, but I don't really like it because they produce this unwanted feelings of love and all of that, which is a distraction. I think that all these destroy logical acting, where you are influenced by desires, love, and all this. Even when you think about them, I think it's a problem because it's like it obstructs your logical thinking, your logical, you know, it makes you act not logically, you know, in a lot of cases. That's why I'm totally against that. I think that the worst thing that we have is this biological desires, this desire for sex. I think that should not exist in me, you know. I really think that I should not feel attraction at all. I hate this feeling, man, bro. It's really distracting. It's really leaving me behind, bro. Like this unwanted thoughts. I don't want them, bro, but I can't stop thinking about them. It's really bad, bro. It's really distracting, man. It's fucking bullshit, man. I want to focus on my life. Fuck this, man. Too much emotions can become a problem, you know? When you're over emotional, when your high drive is too high, you know? It becomes a serious problem. You know, I'm talking about my case. I hate this. I don't want this at all, bro. I mean, emotions, yeah, a little bit, but the sexual drive is bullshit, man. It's destroying my life, man. I can't do anything but think about that. Anyway, so this is my view. This is what I think. Both attraction, both facial beauty, you know, which is a part of attraction, are neither fully objective, neither fully subjective. It's too complex. You cannot narrow it down. Anyone who claims that they can narrow it down to specific energy should raise a red flag, you know, in your eyes. You should not believe these people, man. They just want to push what they believe, you know. And most of the time, I'm not pretending to my read, you know, what they want to do, but I would say, in my experience, a lot of these people, like, like they project what they believe. Not always, I'm not generalizing. So, anyways, so that's what I gotta say. Well, that's what they gotta say, man. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but this is my opinion. So, needs subject to change. This is what I think. Anyways, thanks for watching, man. I'm out. Peace.